There's one in every band. You know, the guy that everybody fucks with. Sometimes it's a roadie, sometimes it's the bass player. Warbeast was no different. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. Alan Bovee and the Cavalera Chicken Conspiracy.
We were in Detroit, and they told me they had chicken for us. So I told Alan, I said, follow your nose, see what you can find. And he takes off in this big place, and he comes back with this giant thing of chicken wings. And we're like, man, wow, you know. So we just sit there and scarf them down and spit all the bones back in the box and then stick some under the seat. And we take off down the road. Next thing you know, Bruce or Christian gets a call.
Yeah, he gets a call, and it's the tour manager. They're accusing us of stealing it, which it was really just a big misunderstanding. I mean, on Alan's part, he went up there looking for food, and the guy said, hey, this is y'all's. So that's all it was. But Alan, he got pretty mad because he knew he didn't do anything wrong, and this guy told him. So we turned around, went back, and showed up with, you know, like,
Alan jumps out of the van, and with this box, this crinkled up box of aluminum thing of bones, and here's your wings back. And see this sepulture tattoo? I would never steal from you, Max.
yeah.
I never would. And they're like, get out of here.
Bruce, now explain how he left you behind at the gas station.
Yeah, it's just one of those times like 6, 7 in the morning, and when you stop for gas, you know, you got like 10 minutes to do all your stuff while they're filling up. And I was inside, you know, just, you know, came out and the van is gone. And Alan at the time was driving. The rest of the guys were totally passed out. I start calling every one of them cell phones, and none of them was answering. I get on Facebook and start posting as a joke, well, I just got left behind, and then friends and stuff were on there laughing and saying, well, I'm going to call them, and, you know, it was hysterical because, you know, Christian finally looked at his phone, turned around and noticed I wasn't there, and he tells Alan, and Alan's like, oh my God, let's tell him that I pulled over here at this auto store trying to make excuses for himself and shit so I wouldn't be pissed, you know. But
Yeah.
that's Alan, man. He's just, you know, he's a character, man.
Yeah.
To most of the world, we're known as the ugly Americans. Canada is notorious for being one of the toughest borders to cross. Why in the hell can you not get into Canada, Scott? And then come to find out, what happened to the rest of the band? Can anybody in Warbeast actually go to Canada?
We thought I might have problems. So we get there, and we pull up, and knowing I'm going to have problems getting in, and Alan's like, oh my God, no! And we're right at the border, and he goes, I left my passport in Seattle. And we're like, don't, stupid. Already red flags popping up. They say pull over. We go in. You know, they say, you know, Scott, you're not getting in. And as a matter of fact, you won't be getting in for at least 5 years. And if you don't sign this paper, we're going to take you to jail. So I said, okay. And then we find out Bobby can't get in for some hidden reasons, let alone Alan didn't have a passport. So was Warbeast playing Canada? No.
In 1986, I moved to Los Angeles and was immediately turned onto a radio station with the call letters of KNAC based out of Long Beach, California. Since then, they've gone internet, but they're worldwide. And of course, everyone's heard of Liquid Metal and XM Radio. All right, tell us more about the interview you did with KNAC. I'm totally excited to hear about this.
Yeah, that was a really cool interview right before the Hollywood gig. And we went in the afternoon. They had us beers and a bunch of goodies, you know, to make us happy. The whole band got to do this interview, which was cool. And they knew their shit about all of our past, you know, previous bands and everything. So it was one of the better interviews we've ever done as an entire band, I think.
Yeah, photo shoot with the whole band and all the guys, and one of the guys pretty much kind of took us around Hollywood and told us all these histories of, you know, all the way back to early Metallica days, and you know, kind of hosted us up until the show. Very, very cool people.
And Scott, what about you? You did an interview at XM Radio for Liquid Metal with Jose. How'd that go?
XM, that was a special day. We went, and any time you play in Manhattan is cool. So we call up Jose at XM at Liquid Metal, and they need a new copy of Warbeast because they'd lost it. So we get to the gig, and I jump in a taxi cab, driving to Times Square, trying to find, you know, looking at all these high rises, and trying to get there at a certain time limit and get up there, and he's super cool, do an interview, gives me a tour around the station. Then I get out, run through Times Square, across Madison Square Garden, get the gig, put on my vest, play this killer show in New York.
What were some of the cities that stand out as far as being some of the crazier crowds, some of the most badass pits?
Chicago definitely had the craziest crowd of the entire tour as far as the moshing and just the crowd reaction to us and everything.
New York was super cool. I was kind of wondering about, Manhattan, New York. I've been there before, but not as a rock band. And it's so expensive to do anything down there. I'm like, how can metalheads show up in Manhattan to go see it? But they showed up in mass numbers. And they were crazy. And California, Santa Ana, Hollywood, insane pits. I thought those were some crazier pits, but they were like whirlpools. And you just see people get to the middle and sink. And then they come out in the ends, and it was...
And another great gig was in Denver, man. That's when...
Denver, yes.
Because, Destruction and Heathen were late that night. So the next thing you know, we get to play like twice as long.
Yeah, we kind of saved the show.
We had to hold the crowd there while they're still trying to arrive at the venue. So.
And they were great. That was a great scene there, too.
Yeah, Denver was great. I mean, all of them were, but, we got certain ones that stand out like that.
There were 3 different styles of thrash metal that were well represented on this tour. You had the Germans, the Californians, and of course the Texans that were fully cocked and loaded.
We just blast them in the face with a shotgun of Texas metal, in each city we went to. And that's what we did, our brand of music. I think that's what thrash fans want. It's just,
in your face.
The in your face, sheer attack. And you could see results, because after we played, then they started buying merch and all that and wanting autographs, and that was very cool, because that's what I'm out to do.
Storm your policy.